everybody. It is your favorite PT, Carissa here. I know everybody is kind of stuck at home. It's raining here. A little bit different times that we're in right now, with everybody needing to do the social distancing. Just wanted to bring you maybe something that could help you guys with your kiddos and their brain development while you are playing at home with them. And this video is going to focus on crossing midline and why that's important. So a lot of you that are former patients of mine, I always talk about this, but the left side of your brain contributes to the coordination of the right side of the body and vice versa. So right side of your brain has a lot to do with the left side of your body. And the reason this is important is in your brain there's two main hemispheres, and there's a thing called the corpus callosum in the middle, and it's kind of a bridge where it's shooting information back and forth between the hemispheres. And when kiddos get really good at crossing midline, the hemispheres get really good at talking to each other. And that helps them with activities that are what we call in the therapy world reciprocal, or things that alternate, left, right, left, right. So crawling, walking, running, skipping, having to change feet as you skip, all of those things, pedaling a bike, all those kinds of things. So today I'm going to give you a couple examples of hopefully maybe things you have around your house. So if you have little bracelets or anything like this, and you're working with little toddler girls or little school-age girls, play silly games where you put all the bracelets on one side and make it academic if you'd like to. Call out certain things. When I call out a word that starts with the letter W, you transfer a bracelet, okay? So give them like a task and then like something they have to do with the bracelets. I love that game. If you want to challenge their postural system more, remember that the wider their base of support, the less their muscles have to work. So long sit and straddle sit, surfaces like that are much easier if the child is younger. If you're trying to challenge them, you can bring it in here. You can go up to kneeling and make the whole activity harder. Same activity, but they're on their knees. You can go into this position, this position. You can go to standing up, like tiptoe, tightrope walk position, what we call tandem. You can make them stand on one leg, anything like that. Hey, Karen's on. Hey girl, you'll love this stuff for your kids. So those are some ways to take bracelets, scrunchies, or bands around your house and work on crossing midline with maybe an academic task, which again you could tailor to your child, and then look at the postural system and you can make that harder or easier as you go. Okay, so that's one idea. Another idea is, let's say you've got something that connects, train. Something that a child, I see kids all the time pushing toys around their living room, right? So if you want to make a game of that, that would actually help their brain more. Even to connect the pieces, just put the pieces behind them, okay? So that when they're starting to put games and pieces together, they're having to rotate. So I'm going to have to use the opposite, oblique. I'm going to cross midline. If you can get them to reach with this hand. If this hand is always their go-to on that same side, tell them, put your hand on the ground, okay? And then use your free hand, get the toy. So you can do this. Therapists do this all the time. We choose a hand to weight bear, so you're going to put it down, and then the opposite hand, crossing midline. Again, you're going, the hemispheres are talking to reach the toy that they need. Again, if sitting is too easy, they can do this on their knees. A more difficult one on knees that I like to do for kids that can handle it is like they're up on tall kneel and they have to side sit like this, get something, and then they have to go towards midline. Look how hard this is. This hip has to squeeze and the butt has to squeeze. Lift, 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 back to tall kneel. Then maybe for the next toy, I've got to sit this way. I've got to control this descent over to the side. I get whatever toy I want, and then I've got to lift, 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 lift to get back to tall kneel. So that's a transition that I like to use for kids that are a little bit stronger. They're a little more agile, but they lack hip and booty. That one in particular is really good for kids that pigeon toe or toe in. That means the outsides of those kiddos' hips and the booty is typically weak. So they need to strengthen it. So if you have a kiddo and their toes are inward, that would be a great one. Okay? So once you get all the pieces together, let's say you've got anything with wheels that you pull, just make sure they're having to cross midline. Make sure maybe they have to put it all the way behind their body, then they have to twist, their brain is having to switch sides, and then grab it from behind them. If you have a track or something, make them sit within the track and pull it around. Okay, so that's an idea. Okay, blocks. Blocks are easy, right? Everybody's got some form of blocks, right? So crossing midline, I love this game. You could just stack them on your leg anywhere, right? And then you are calling something out. So you're going to say pink, and they have to grab pink. But the rule is, this other hand, either they have to put it on the floor, touch their hip, touch their shoulder. Depending on how complicated or old the toddler to school-age child is, you can say, okay, shoulder pink, and that means they have to put this hand on their shoulder and grab pink. And then put it in whatever target, shoot it, throw it, whatever. Or put it in the middle and they're going to build something at the end, okay? If I say knee and yellow, one of my hands has to go to knee and then I've got to pick yellow, okay? If it's too complicated, you might have to put everything on the same side for kids to follow. It might be too hard if it's split up. So, I mean, again, you kind of have to vary with the kid, but you might need everything on this side, and you say, okay, this hand is going to do the body part I call out. Oh, actually, if I was going to do that and I want them to cross midline, y'all can see I'd actually want these over here because I want this hand to cross. I've also, one of my games when I was doing post-concussion rehab, Patrick, shout out if you're on, he had me lay on my back and he had colored items behind me, and I had to, same thing, I had to cross midline and figure out where that item was from memory. So that's something to do for an adult or maybe an older child that's just a little more high level. So you can just do whatever you want with visuals, but if they're having a hard time remembering what to do when, then I would take it down to one object and just call out like one at a time. If they get good, you can add multiple colors. If they get good, you can add multiple body parts. You might not be able to throw all that at them at once, okay? These are really good, Jingle Ball. So these are good for like hot potato with like, let's say you've got like multiple siblings. I'm trying to look at y'all and catch the ball. So let's say you have to call out a sibling's name and they're always going to be across the circle. So you're going to be working on, you're naturally going to be weight shifting in that pelvis, and you're going to be crossing midline to throw. Again, change the postural position if this is too easy. Make them go on knees, make them go on one knee, make them stand on 2 feet, 1 foot, whatever you want to do. Okay, so change the postural position. The task itself is too easy. Okay, these are my favorite for legs. So if you want a child to work on balance, I like putting things on their feet and lifting it in the sky to place in a bucket at first. But if they have good balance and I want them to progress, I'm going to see if my opposite hand I can cross midline and grab. Y'all see that? I'm trying to look at the camera too. Okay, so if it goes here, I would want this hand to pick it up, right? And so that's a fun one. Kids really like that. In the same way, you can do it with rings where they hook it and then they have to grab it. So let's say I put all these on their feet. I might say, okay, I want the green ring. So they're going to have to balance. They're going to have to come up, get the green ring, and put these back on. And then I've got this in my opposite hand, and then I can do whatever I need to do, whether I'm building something, throwing it, going to a target, wearing it as jewelry if you're a little girl and you want to do some of that interactive play. So that's a fun idea. This is a fun idea for crossing midline when you're standing. Okay, shapes. I pulled these out for the little ones. Any kind of sorting game, if you can put all to one side and the target to the other, so that any kind of cleanup task is always crossing midline, okay? If you add leaning back, so if they have to reach back and grab something, of course you're getting abdominals, so that's even higher level. So just placing it behind them like this is too easy, then shoot, put it back there, right? See if they can do this hand and cross. Therapists, we always have equipment, so you could also have a child straddle a peanut ball, sit on a physio ball. You could have them sit on just like a playground ball. That's going to make their pelvis super active, right? So anything where you're crossing midline on something that's moving is a lot more challenging. So it's another idea, okay? The last idea I had for toddlers This will be in our baby video next. But for toddlers, if you guys have like matching chairs like this that are just some sort of a play set, y'all probably did this as a kid, but the musical chairs where you put them in a loop and they have to walk in a circle and the music stops, they sit, and if there's not an open seat, they're kind of like battling for the seat. Okay, I love that game, you probably love that game, but it might make your kids a little too hyper, right? Because we're inside and everybody's already on top of each other. So a variation of that game is you can put like things on the chair that are educational. So like little flashcard letters, if it's like a younger child where they're learning at this phase where it's just one picture at a time, you know, you can put the books open. I've got like a lot of these little books for little ones. And you can have them walk around and say, where's the lion? And of course the lion's right here, so I would want them to stop and sit on this chair. And then the cool part is if I say, where's the rabbit? They're gonna have to sidestep. So it's kind of like their little bottom. They find the seat with the picture and then they're having to look behind them and look behind them. So they're looking in rotation, and then they have to go find it. And anytime you have to sidestep, again, you're just using that part of your brain that's communicating to both sides. So it's not just a linear thing, a one-sided ipsilateral thing. You're taking turns. Is it left? Is it right? So then I love that game because it brings in their vision, it brings in their language, and it brings in their weight shifting. So I hope these ideas have helped you guys for toddlers. I'm going to do another video in just a second for babies and how to help them cross midline too. Because their brains are the same, they have the two hemispheres and the corpus callosum in the middle. That's like a little bridge that talks to the hemispheres, and so it's really important for babies. Those of you guys that are on, do y'all have any questions for me? Miss Misra, Miss Monroe, y'all are both here. Do y'all have any questions for me about toddlers and crossing midline? I hope these videos are super helpful, and again, love you guys, miss y'all. I'm just sending some love from Pearl, and it does feel kind of somber because like I said, it's raining and I'm not able to see anyone in person. But I really hope that these videos give you some ideas to try at home with your toddlers and your little ones. If you need me, just reach out. You can message me. If you need any sessions right now, we've got telehealth only. That's what we're doing right now at Pearl. I really believe, as the owner of Pearl, that that's the best thing for patients. It's the best thing for therapists. It's the best thing for everyone. So if you need something, reach out and call us. See you guys really soon.